Ashton Turner turned things around for Australia as the visitors registered their highest successful run chase, drawing the series 2-2, taking the series to the decider in Delhi on March 13th. Jamie, all of them thought that Australia, despite without David Warner and Stephen Smith, would be pushovers. But with these two victories, that's not the case.
Absolutely. Australia ranked number 6th in ODIs, have not won a bilateral ODI series for over 2 years now. And even most recently against India at home, they lost 2-1. So the odds were obviously stacked against an Australian team for whom the captain Aaron Finch had not scored a decent run for forever. But still, more than this match, I go back to the last match when they won. They needed to win that match in Ranchi to keep the series alive.
Right.
They won that. The confidence Australian team picked up from that match, in which Khwaja got his maiden 100 and Finch got that 93. That was clearly visible in yesterday's match in Mohali. Keep in mind, Mohali has been a belter of a track. If there was one venue which is going to be high scoring of all the 5 matches, it was going to be Mohali. And let's not forget that India did score 358. Right. I have to talk about that in the next few minutes. But really, for me, just forget Ashton Turner. His innings was the one which made the headlines. But Khwaja again getting 91 at a strike rate of 92, 93. Yeah. And then Peter Handscomb, a player who hardly 2 months ago was being ridiculed in Australia by the press and the fans for having some suspect technique. This guy now averages about 48 in ODIs this year at a very healthy strike rate. And really the way he played was a lesson in how to play spin. So those 2 innings were the ones that made the win possible. And then of course Ashton Turner in his second match comes and scores 84 in 40 odd balls, hitting 4, 5 sixes. Some really outstanding sixes in that innings. We'll talk about him more, but really like you said, a match which really surprised many people. Not in the least Virat Kohli, who really spoke harshly about his team's ability in the field, and again having a bad start.
And what are the biggest talking points for India from this game is that, as we mentioned earlier, the batting, there's nothing to complain about. 358 runs on any kind of track, against any kind of bowling attack, that's good, should have been good enough. The bowling aspect for India, Bhuvneshwar Kumar had an off day, considered over 7 runs per over. Jasprit Bumrah got 3 wickets, but again, his 8.5 overs considered 63 runs. Yajwendra Chahal 1 wicket, but 80 runs. And Kedar Jadhav, somebody who has been doing fairly well in the recent ODIs, was taken for 44 runs in his 5 overs. And Jamie, there's that surprise element of Kedar Jadhav being that part-timer, giving you those tidy overs in the middle. In the last 2 ODIs, that has not been the case.
Yeah, I mean, look, to be fair to Kedar Jadhav, he has done the job 9 out of 10 times when given the ball. It seems like the lower his arm goes now, the harder he gets to pick for opposing teams. And he's got wickets in the last few games before this series, and he's broken partnerships. But what this series has showed is that he cannot be relied upon to be your 6th bowler or 7th bowler. Sometimes he becomes your 4th bowler at times, depending on the situation. I think last match, I mean, again, there was dew and the track in Mohali was a belter. But a player like Ashton Turner, who probably India did not have too much homework done, he comes in and just smacks. He and Handscomb as well, they just smack the pants off Jadhav. Maybe it's a one-off, but yes, in the last few matches, his economy rate has been on a high side. He's not got the big wickets. So really, there is a bit of a doubt about Kedar Jadhav's abilities as a part-time bowler at the World Cup, because this is the series which is India's last before the World Cup. One more game to play, and the Kotla still often is slow and low, so he still might get a chance. But if Jadhav does bowl the Kotla and give runs again, he's not going to get much bowling in the World Cup.
And looking ahead, as you said, just one ODI left for India in the international calendar, so to speak, before they take that flight to England. In Kotla, what can we expect? In the sense, you saw in Mohali, Kohli dropping down at 4 to accommodate someone like KL Rahul. Ambati Rayudu rested. You see Ambati Rayudu coming back for the Delhi ODI. You see someone like Shami, who again was rested. In a sense, India looking for their best possible 11 to play in the final ODI before the World Cup.
Look, there's one more match. I think where India made a mistake was in not having Virat Kohli bat at number 3 yesterday in Mohali. I mean, look, he's the guy, he averages over 60 at number 3. He's your best batsman. He is your number 3. I get the logic, with Dhoni rested, you have Rishabh Pant playing, and with Ambati Rayudu not scoring runs, and still pretty much your number 4 that you want to give KL Rahul a chance. But then KL Rahul, if he does play in England, he's not going to play as an opener now because
Right.
Shikhar Dhawan had some doubts. He got that 100. Dhawan and Rohit are going to be your openers. Kohli is going to be your number 3 at the World Cup. So why are you batting KL Rahul at number 3? He came in yesterday ahead of an informed Virat Kohli, who's been scoring at over 110 strike rate this series. And he scored 26 in 31 balls with 1-4. A lot of momentum was lost, especially after the 192 or 93 run stand that Dhawan and Rohit Sharma gave India. Virat Kohli walking in at that time with that many overs, and just the form is in, he could have really, to my mind, made the difference with 25-30 more runs. KL Rahul didn't do it. I still think Rahul will play at the Kotla on Wednesday, but if he does, he'll bat at number 4. And India need to get back to their winning formula, which is having Virat Kohli at number 3.
And also somebody like Rishabh Pant. He had an off day. He missed a couple of chances of Kuldeep Yadav stumping missed chance of Peter Hanscom that proved to be really costly. A couple of balls that just went through him. Yes, he's not somebody who will keep in the World Cup because Dhoni is there. But how do you see him as a batsman? Okay, he has done well, but as a wicketkeeper, it's not really an ideal option. You'll see someone like Dinesh Karthik coming back. I mean, coming back in the sense getting another chance in the squad.
Look, one more game to play with Dhoni rested and Karthik not around. Rishabh Pant will keep, but he has a lot of work to do. We even saw that even in the Test series, even when he was taking all those catches to break records, his keeping is suspect. The movement to the right, to the left. And yesterday, yes, as you said, was a very poor day for him. He also missed a throw collection which would run out Peter Hanscom after he got 100. Small things like that do add up to a win. But again, look, while Rishabh Pant is in the squad, that suggests that Karthik won't keep. What happens if Karthik scores 500, 600 runs like we discussed last time in the IPL. And Rishabh Pant has a poor IPL? That spot is still open. This is not India's final World Cup squad. If Karthik has a very good IPL with a run and as a captain of KKR and as a wicketkeeper, he still could push out Rishabh Pant because then you won't miss Rishabh Pant the batsman as it is in the World Cup. If he plays, he's going to play when someone gets injured. You have Vijay Shankar, you have Kedar Jadhav, you have Amity Raidu. So again, a lot riding on Rishabh Pant, and I seriously believe that if he has a bad day behind the stumps at the Kotla, his home ground, he still may not make the World Cup squad. And
before we wrap up, Jamie, final playing 11, what would be your 11 for the Delhi ODI for India?
Australia have no need to change. I think, like I said, Rahul will play, but he needs to bat at number 4. You may want to get in one more fast bowler. I know the Kotla is slow and low, but if you put faith in Kuldeep Yadav, who's taken wickets every game now, he's been a very crucial factor. We haven't spoken about him, but his wickets have been huge. Maybe one more fast bowler just to see how come the World Cup Bhuvneshwar, Shami and Bumrah fit in as a trio.
So in all, India would be looking to field their best available 11 in Delhi. For Australia, as we mentioned, unchanged team would be the thing. But for Australia, a lot is riding on them because it would be a series victory for them after a long time. For India, implications of a World Cup squad won't be there because IPL would be there. But in their final ODI before the World Cup, India would like to end on a high note.